Hello everyone, this is audap. Let's continue our game of Iwaihime on PC. I punched the tree trunk with all my might, but this wouldn't be enough. I'd never attain it like this. Attain what? I didn't know. But I knew I had to attain it. This fist had been honed over 1,000 years. If I bore the thoughts and feelings imbued into it from back then I couldn't be satisfied with how weak it was now. This fist had been passed down to me from its founder over a millennium. The Tsushihara divine tribute style had been tempered over that time with each generation, and I was its 1,000-year successor. So I had to attain the peak that such a weighty history represented. I recited those words and readied myself before I punched. But I still didn't understand. Was I punching to crush evil, or to demonstrate the righteous path? I couldn't even tell that much.
すずむ、麦茶入れたけど飲む？
ありがとう。もらうよ。
これ読んだよ。すごいね。1000年の歴史があるんだね。アンビリーバブバブ。すずむも簡単にお寺の鐘をパンチしたんだ。ゴーンって？
ゴツって感じかな。すごく痛いよ。
でもなんでお寺の鐘をパンチするの？
開祖がお寺の鐘を打って修行をしたと伝えられてるんだ。開祖が絶命するとき、その鐘が割れたんだって。以来、鈴原流では梵鐘を割れて初めて神域に達することができると言われてる。それを試すために毎年お寺の鐘を打つようになったのが始まりだって聞いたよ。
それお寺の人に知られたらもう二度と鐘を打たせてくれなくなるね。
それもそうだね。でもお寺の人には悪いけれど。
え？
僕は必ず割ってみせる。
Yeah, I think we're moving on to the DLC. Like I was saying yesterday, the canon ending is the death of both Toei and Susahara, and the eventual victory of the curse. Though I feel that is actually the best ending, because mankind certainly didn't deserve to live for what it had done to Toei's ancestors and to the god they betrayed. But probably there would be some people who would object to that kind of ending. So let's see what we see in this portion of the story. The sounds of the sports clubs practicing in the schoolyard after school reached the infirmary. Yet the sound was rendered near melancholic in the near empty school. Suzumu and Hinagata were in the infirmary together.
どうすればみんなを救えるんでしょ
う。呪いのすすを打ち破るほかはないわ。そしてそれはおそらくすすはらくんにしかできないわ。
Yesterday, Suzumu and Hinagata had used their Sunday to meet up with Suzumu's father. They had gone to learn about the roots of the Susahara divine tribute style. But more than anything, they'd wanted to see his power. It went without saying, but with Mr. Susahara being the current master of the Susahara divine tribute style, he would be far better versed in it than Suzumu, logically speaking. Thus, they were hoping he had the power to destroy hauntings, stronger than Suzumu's anyway. Hinagata was also a descendant of the sacrifice to the cursed soot. She would be able to tell if he possessed such power. But unfortunately, it seemed Mr. Susahara no longer had it.
人は加齢によって霊的防御力が上がるの。でもそれは言い換えると、人は若さを失うと霊的なチャンネルがずれてくるとも言えるの。
It's easy for those channels to sync up with spirits during adolescence, which is why even average people can be prone to hauntings. But those channels gradually tune out as the years pass. Perhaps it could be likened to hearing. People stop hearing spirits' voices the older they get.
すすはらくんのお父さんはきっと若かった頃には素晴らしい力を持っていたと思うわ。
でも今はもう。
お父さんに助けてもらえばあっさり解決ってほど甘くはなかったわね。その代わり今のすすはらくんは霊的な意味で言えばまさに油の乗ったお年頃というわけでもあるわね。
僕にしかできない。
Alright, give me just a second. Okay, my apologies.
ええ、あなたが呪いのすすを払える唯一の希望よ。霊障を和らげられる人間の存在など私の知る限りの古文書には一度も登場しない。あなたは紛れもなく六神彦の命の呪いが始まってから1000年来のイレギュラー。
僕が1000年の呪いを終わらせる。それが使命のような気がするんです。
ススハラ流親善武術。ひょっとしたら本当にそのために存在するのかもしれないわね。
Hinagata was currently deciphering the ancient writings she'd borrowed from Mr. Susahara. Tsubakiko's family, the Haramiyas, were related to the Susaharas and had lived in Susada for generations. So there was a high probability the Susahara's ancestors had a connection to this land. Every New Year's, it was traditional to punch a temple bell with the Susahara divine tribute style, and the Shintai housed in Iwaihime Shrine was a temple bell. It all lined up with the legend of Roku Gamahiko no Mokoto's curse.
私は確信しているわ。ススハラ君のご先祖様はこの地に住んでいたのよ。そして六神彦の命の呪いを解くために親善武術を生み出したんだわ。
僕の家の名字がススハラ。
ええ、やっぱりその名前は偶然じゃないのよ。あなたは六神彦の命の呪いのすすを払うことを使命とした一族の末裔なのよ。
Suzumu gripped his fist tightly with newfound purpose and resolve.
この学校に生贄の末裔がすべて揃い、すすを払うことを名に持つあなたが転校してきた。平安時代頃より始まった呪いなら、今のおそらく1000年目。その1000年目にこれだけの偶然が揃う。
運命だと思います。
同感よ。そして1000年目を迎え、トエちゃんの体に封じられたすすももはや限界。呪いのすすが放たれ、この地に恐ろしい災いが降りかかるのか、それとも
僕がこの呪いを終わらせます。まだ未熟でその力はないけれど、必ずそれを身につけてみせます。
Suzumu had borrowed the Susahara Divine Tribute Styles book of secrets from his father. For the first time in his life, Suzumu was aiming high, not because his training told him to, but because he wanted to. Once he saw that his father had realized Suzumu's divine tribute style had entered the final stage towards completion. His training would become even more special from this day onward. Suzumu would learn the heart of the secret texts and perfect his technique.
もちろんススハラ君に全てを任せて高みの見物なんてつもりはないわ。私も呪いのすすについて様々な古文書から研究を続けてるわ。
It wasn't like the infirmary was always busy. Hinagata would continue deciphering the ancient writings during the slow hours. Perhaps she'd find a clue to destroying the soot in them.
これは仮説だけれど、フラッシュバックという心理現象を知ってる？
フラッシュバック。
トラウマ体験が突然鮮明に蘇る現象よ。そのメカニズムはまだ完全には解明されていないけれど、霊障だと仮定すると説明がつきやすいの。トラウマ体験、すなわち心的外傷は心の霊的な防御を全て貫通していたった傷と考えてみたの。トラウマ体験そのものが霊障だとしたなら、それはつまり霊の攻撃が心に至り残り続けているということ。
人の心に霊の悪意が突き刺さったままになっているということですか？
そういうこと。そしてそれが可能してフラッシュバックという霊障を起こし、犠牲者を苛み続ける。何が言いたいかというと、人の心は霊的存在の規制対象なんじゃないかってことなの。もちろん仮説に仮説を重ねた先生の空想なんだけれども、呪いのすすもまた霊的な存在ならば、それはおそらく心に寄生していると思うの。 そしてそれは霊的防御を貫通して至った心的外傷に根ざしている。
心の傷と呪いのすすに関係があるということですか？
心の傷は一般的には時間が癒すと言われてる。それは加齢で霊的防御が上昇するのと一致するわ。私は自分の体験も重ねて考えてみて、呪いのすすは人の心の傷の中に住み着いていると考えているの。つまりカウンセリングによる悩み相談とかでアプローチする方法もあるかもねってことなの。
Suzumu would aim to drive away the cursed soot through the divine tribute style he trained in. Meanwhile, Hinagata would aim to heal the roots of the cursed soot by using psychotherapy.
まるで鈴原くんが西洋医学で私が漢方医学ね。
僕は呪いを直接叩き、先生が根底から治す。
そう、挟み撃ちね。
Suzumu and Hinagata would surround the curse from both fronts. They swore to fight back against it for the first time in history.
じゃあみんな着席してね。次の日曜日には清掃活動を行います。
おいさっさ、おいらはやっぱお掃除が一番心が落ち着くね。リリアちゃんは来られるの？やっぱりお仕事？学業も部活も両立できてこそ女子高生アイドルだと思いますので。
トイちゃんも体調が良かったらぜひ来てね。
へへ、俺様のグレートなほうき技が見せられそうだぜ。スサラ？
あ、ごめん。ぼんやりしてた。
On the outside, the LCSC looked harmonious, but all of them were suffering. And it wasn't just them. Many others had suffered in the 1,000 years it had taken to reach this point. I swore I'd put an end to it. I'd bring back their smiles, every last one of them. The book of secrets I'd borrowed from my father didn't have anything so awe-inspiring inside like one might expect from the name. It was just everything he had taught to me since I was a child. But the basics of the basics were likely secrets in and of themselves.
親善武術は武術なれど戦う術にあらず。
And its fist was not for violence.
カイソは金を割った。だから拳を強く固く鍛えるのが目標と誤解しやすい。違う。金が割れたのは結果であって目的じゃない。カイソは金を割るために撃ったんじゃないんだ。神に報じるために撃った。
But what did that mean in its core sense? Did it refer to the ancient definition, where people would present their yields to their gods as thanks for their blessings?
親善武術は怒りで撃つんじゃない。初歩の初歩だ。僕は今まで無心で撃つものだと思ってきた。
But that was part of the process, not the destination. I would advance to a new stage from now on.
覇者検証。邪悪を破りて正しきを示す。そしてそれがなされることを神に感謝しよう。
Dedicate the fist, offer thanks, and dedicate. It was strange. Up until now, I'd felt heat in my fist, but something was different this time. I felt heat in the core of my body, like there was a tree growing from my stomach. I knew then I'd take my first step into a new realm.
鈴原流親善武術鈴原進いざ。
Those working in the shrine office bowed when they noticed Toei returning from school. Toei returned their bows this time, but she clearly wasn't feeling well. She hadn't had any hauntings when she was in the LCSC's clubroom with Suzumu, but once he'd left, they immediately came back with a vengeance. Toei gripped her abdomen and looked down for a while. It hurt from time to time, like there was a dry riverbed in her stomach with giant boulders rolling around. The pains had been coming without notice these days, and they grew worse each successive time. Toei knew from the ancient writings what those pains signified.
もう限界なのか。
The sacrifice who'd been subjected to the quintuplet spell had also complained of a pain like a giant boulder rolling in her stomach. This pain likely indicated the soot inside her had hit its limit. But the quintuplet spell had been lost. All she could do was endure the pain, hold off the curse for as long as possible, and have a child as soon as she could.
お嬢さん大丈夫ですか。しっかり。誰か手を。お嬢さんがまた体調を崩された。
大山の鹿さんちょっと来ておくれ。鬼がいるから行かれない。お釜をかぶってちょっと来ておくれ。角があるからかぶれない。お布団かぶってちょっと来ておくれ。すすって真っ黒かぶれない。あの子が欲しい。あの子じゃわからん。相談しましょう。そうしましょう。
Three human-like figures with antlers danced in the doll ritual tool shed, which was naturally packed to the gills with dolls. Then they came to a sudden stop and quietly sat down.
はてさて、相談とは何か、姉上様。
Another human-like figure with antlers appeared in the center of them.
我のすすは十分にたまり、いよいよ木を迎えたり。
おめでとうございます、姉上様。おめでとうございます。人鬼どもにこの世の地獄を。
なれど、これしきでは足りぬ。
と申されますと。
我ほどに蓄えしすすをもってしても、兄上様たちのご無念を晴らすにはまるで足りぬ。
A silence descended upon the room. 1,000 years was hardly a short time to gather enough soot to lay vengeance on the humans, even for them. It would have been agonizing to wait longer to exact their revenge, even for the manifestations of the curse.
姉上様一人ではありませぬ。我らが後に続きまする。我ら4人の夜旅の災いが起こせまする。
それでは手ぬるい。
では姉上様のお考えは。
我らのすすを一つに集めたい。ささやかな災いをよたび起こしたところでたかが知れたこと。人鬼どもの嘆きを天を越えて轟かせるには、我らのすすをすべて集め、この上なき災いをもたらすより他はない。
お気持ちはわかりまするが、災いの日を待つのは我らも悲願。我らもまたその日を夢見て流らえてきたのでございまする。我らのすす、そうそうは手放せませぬ。なれど我らの目的は人鬼たちを注し、兄上様たちのご無念をわずかでもお慰めすること。姉上様の仰せになることが最もその目的にかなうのであれば、我は悲願の日を姉上様に託すこともやぶさかではありませぬ。それでよいのですか、姉上様。我らは神の呪い、神を慰めるための存在。決して我らが報いを求めてはなりませぬ。そなたは同意できるか。
よたびの災いよりも全てをすすだきし災いの方が兄上様をお慰めできるのなら我も同意いたしまするが、条件が一つ。
聞こうぞ。
全てをすすだきて災いを起こすというならば、あれのすすは無視できません。
陸奥の末裔、鈴原鈴夢のすすか。
さようです。陸奥の末裔。あれのすすは強く濃く、この上なく多い。すべてをすすだきし、この上なき災いと仰せられるならば、あれは決して無視できませんぞ。
あれほどすすが多いものは実に久しい。見逃すにはあまりに惜しい。
無論すすが多いに越したことはない。
鈴夢のすす、見逃す手はありますまい。
さようです。なれば姉上様、我らすべてのすすを集め災いを起こす役目、鈴原鈴夢のすすを得たものということにされてはいかがか。
いかがなさいますかな、姉上様。我らは神の呪い。誰がそれを振るう役目になったとて、悲願の達成に変わりはありませぬ。それならば張り合いがあるというもの。公平な条件ならば誰にすすだくことになろうともお恨みはいたしません。
いかがか、姉上様。
我に異議はなし。姉上様やいかに。
よかろうぞ。鈴原鈴夢のすすを得た者に我らのすべてをすすだく。
ありがたや。
面白きかな。久々に胸が高まりまする。だがご油断召されるな。我らが何を恐れると。鈴原鈴間に油断召されるな。
あれはもう目覚めている。
The bringer of calamity shall be... Oh, sure. I didn't realize I was picking. In today's warring period of idols, you couldn't survive by simply being cute. Flower High School was a fiercely athletic idol unit, and we sold ourselves on dancing until we dropped. We moved and sang with intense vigor on the stage, literally dripping with sweat. Honestly, we could have just lip-synced, but we refused cutting the corners. Actually, hold on. Go back here.
あれはもう目覚めて。
Alright, and then we can make our formal save here. Okay, so we can pick who the final bringer of calamity is. I don't want to redo the caterpillar sequence. Again, I feel streaming platforms don't understand adult audiences and therefore ban anything that is adult content. And by that I don't mean adult sexual content. So, with that in mind, I think we can still pick Rydia. I think she was probably the least impactful of the curses. And I think Kane was the caterpillar, if I remember correctly. So probably we won't ever make that choice there. According to our leader Chi, you weren't a full-fledged member of Flower High until you collapsed on stage. To be honest, I thought they were just exaggerating at first, but oh, how wrong I was. I had once fainted face first on the stage, forcing her to get fake teeth to replace the one she broke in the fall. But she never tried to hide it. In fact, she told the story to her fans for bragging rights. That was what Flower High School was all about. Perfect. I would forge my own tale of heroism. No, my legend. I had to dance with all my might, all my heart, all my soul. I was dancing today with enough spirit to kill myself. In fact, I wanted death to just try to take me. I'd laugh in its face. The fans broke out in laughter. I felt like I finally understood how things worked with Flower High's performances. But I wasn't done yet. This wasn't enough to make me pass out. I had to keep pushing my limits.
はーい、お待たせ。テストの答案を開始ます。
お前何点だった？俺72点。ああ、1点足りねえよ。居残りとか冗談じゃねえ。
ほらほら静かに。次、布川さん。はい。今回も頑張ったわね。いい点数よ。
ありがとうございます。
布川さんって毎日お稽古があって休みの日もお仕事なんでしょ？なのにこれだけ学業も頑張れるなんて本当にすごいわね。
私、何かを言い訳にしたくないんです。お稽古が忙しいから勉強がおろそかならお稽古をやめればいいんだし、勉強が忙しくてお稽古がおろそかなら勉強をやめればいいんだし、だから学校と仕事を両立させるからには両方に一生懸命じゃなきゃおかしいと思いまして。
本当に立派ね。やれるところまでやってごらんなさい。
布川さんってすごいよね。成績優秀でアイドルなんて嘘みたい。私たちとは出来が違うのよ。エコムは。
I neglected my homework when I was the cleaning princess. My teachers overlooked it because they figured it was hard for me to maintain my studies alongside my work. But there was no way my classmates would let that slide. So I couldn't afford to slack off. No excuses I could come up with would satisfy them, nor did I need any. I just had to devote myself to whatever tasks were before me, so I would always be on top of my game. And in doing so, I could earn everyone's recognition and respect. That much I was sure of. I applied myself to every challenge I faced, from dance lessons to singing lessons. They often said that a perfect performance required blood, sweat, and tears. Well, if it were possible to show all that, I would. Why, you may ask? Because you need visible results to be respected. That was why Flower High and its selling point were a perfect fit for me. I worked hard on stage and at school, so I had to work extra hard for all my fans who recognize my efforts.
CD お買い上げ1枚ごとに1人のメンバーを指名して握手していただきます。
メンバー全員と握手するには5枚買えということでござるな。悪どいでござる。
10枚買って愛ちゃんと10回握手するのは可能ですか？
できまーす。
The core fans went wild. I couldn't be more grateful to those who bought multiple CDs just to spend time with us. So I wanted to match their love for me as best as I could. No, not match it. Return it tenfold. I wouldn't let them outdo me no matter what. Flower High School was about passion, so that was what we were going to give them.
ミリーちゃん CD5 枚買いました。握手公開してください。
私のために5枚も買ってくれたんですか？ありがとうございます。
マチカルリリーの頃から応援してます。これからも全力で応援します。
リリーちゃんのとこは熱心なファンが多いね。すごーい。やっぱりマジカルリリーの頃からの熱心なファンが多いんだね。その人たちみんなまとめてプラハイに入学させちゃいます。私はもうお掃除プリンセスじゃない、プラハイの新入生なんですから。
そうだね。私たちも頑張ってリリーちゃんのファンもどんどんフラハイに入学させちゃ
It felt like I was walking on air. Just think, if you were to step into the sky and keep putting your feet forward, it really would be just as though you were walking on clouds. It was a perfect metaphor for how I felt. I'd put everything I had into my work so I could stay among the clouds. That determination surged through my every fiber of my being.
やばい、酸欠かも。目が回る。
リリーちゃん休憩入ります。
リリー大丈夫？張り切りすぎ。すみません。5分だけ休みます。
I staggered on over to the break area, set up behind the partition in the back. The unit ought to be called Adrenaline High School, since that was the only thing keeping us standing. The staff kept inquiring about my health, clearly concerned for my well-being. I loved working so hard that others would fall all over themselves to make sure I was okay. I took a water bottle and plopped down on a folding chair. The crowd's zeal was palpable even through these thin walls. I could hear those who had been waiting to get a handshake from me chatting as they reorganized the line to accommodate for my break. I couldn't afford to rest. I was here because all of them had cheered me on. But sorry, just a few moments, please. I closed my eyes and heard the fans talking. A lot of them were surprisingly timid, and so rarely spoke their true thoughts to my face. So getting to overhear them would be a good learning experience.
アイちゃん、ビーズワークにハマってるってツイッターで言ってたよ。
俺、プレゼントにビーズのセット買ってきた。喜んでくれるかな。リリーちゃんって今ハマってるものとかないのかな。
好きなものやハマってるものを教えてくれると俺らも応援のしがいがあるよな。
Interesting. So that was the sort of thing they wanted to hear. I refrained from talking about my interest because I thought it sounded like an underhanded way of getting presents, but it seemed like I'd need to rethink that.
歌はちーちゃんが一番だけど、ダンスならアンズニャンが一番かな。
アイちゃんのあのフギョンって仕草、かわいいよな。フラハイは派手であっても決して下品でないところがいいんだよ。恥じらいが大事なんだよ。
This was turning out to be very informative. I'd have to study Chi's singing and Anzu's dancing. I also had to look into coming up with a cute gesture of my own, like the whole squeaky clean thing I had going as the cleaning princess. So being flashy yet modest was the key, huh? That was kind of a tall order.
最近にわかが増えたよな。フラハイの暑さが分かってね、萌え豚が増えてムカつくよ。
I could tell this wasn't going to be a pleasant topic.
リリーチュマジうぜんだよ。消えてくんねえかな。つか、リリーが消えろ。あいつフラハイに溶け込んでねえよな。なんてあんなのが入ってきたんだよ。
New members always got a cold reception by long-time fans. But that was only natural. No idol could possibly survive if they couldn't win people over with their natural talents.
マジカルリリーの頃は可愛かったのにな。劣化早すぎだろ。
今日見て失望したわ。ぶっさ、声抜けるわ。
手足長すぎてダンス決めよ。さようなら。俺のマジカルリリー。
I wasn't just some doll modeled after a grade schooler. Did they seriously think I'd stay the same forever? I was in high school already. Those creeps who were obsessed with tiny grade schoolers like Magical Lily had absolutely nothing good to say about the current me. Honestly, I wish people like that would just buzz off forever. Oh no. Even if it was only in my head, I was bad-mouthing them.
リリー、なんであんなにダンス下手なのにフラハイにいるわけ？
Shut up. I've been practicing really hard over here. If I was that bad, then tell me where I screwed up.
お掃除プリンセス好きだったのにな。超ババアか。幻滅しまくり。頼むから思い出を汚さないでほしいんだ。
Like I give a crap. I don't want to be one of your memories.
なんでフラハイに入ってきたんだよ。誰も頼んでねえよ。
Shut the hell up. I didn't join because bastards like you asked for it.
てめえはずっとお掃除魔法でクリンクリンとかやってりゃいいんだよ。
マジカルリリーの悪口を言うな。
Huh?
そうだそうだ、俺たちのリリーはずっと俺たちのリリーだ。劣化したとか言うんじゃねえ。
リリーちゃん、ダンス頑張ってたよ。前回よりずっと上達してたよ。負けるなリリー、僕たち応援してるから、これからもずっと。
Warm teardrops trailed down my cheeks. Alright, why don't we stop it there? This is audap. You've been watching Iwaihime on PC. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.